If you're ever wondering what I'm making in the kitchen, this series is for you. This teaches you some of the recipes I'm making as we're moving through the different seasons and holidays that I'm able to stick in my grocery budget. So this shows you meals that I've made, things that I've pulled out of the freezer and just whipped up really quickly, and some special things that I do for the holidays. If you've been following this series, this is actually meals number 24. We started this at the beginning of January 2025, and we have put out a video in this series every 2 weeks. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross, and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you how to save money on groceries. Our grocery budget is $270 per month, and I'm able to stay in that grocery budget by batch cooking meals, really focusing on ingredients and having zero food waste. Now, our grocery budget is based on the two people that live here, my husband and I, but for the last 2 weeks, we've had visitors 11 days out of the 14. And I didn't change our grocery budget at all to have the visitors here. I just stretched out the ingredients a little bit more and made it work. So this video is starting right at the beginning of December. We just wrapped up Thanksgiving weekend, and then it is the beginning of December, and it's been over 2 weeks since I went to the grocery store when this video starts. This video is for the 2nd to the 4th week since I went to the grocery store. This video is also where you get a little bit more sneak peeks behind the scenes of, things that might be happening in our family or things that are happening just in general with the Cross Legacy. So if you want to learn more about me, this series is a great place to start to go back to January of 2025. So on the first day that we are starting this, we actually were gone almost all day long, and I wasn't sure exactly what time we were going to get home, but before we left, I made sure to pull out some chicken sausage that I had in the freezer, and I also had a container of already cooked potatoes and peppers and onions, and I had also a cooked container of rice, and I had pulled those out and didn't realize that I wasn't going to get home until 6:40, and it was really tempting to just want to stop and get takeout. But after getting home and pulling those ingredients out, it only took me 15 minutes to mix those all in the pan, cook the sausage, then add the veggies to get them warmed up again, and add the rice to it, put a little bit of barbecue sauce on it, and we had dinner before 7 o'clock, and we had walked in the door at 6:40. During the winter time, I often make a pot of soup like once a week, but we don't want to eat the same soup every single day. So I will portion it off and put it into jars into the freezer. So this one was actually for lunch, but I did take a picture of some crackers I had in a jar that had been in the jar for many months. And if you store them in a jar with a metal lid, you can keep them fresh for almost a year in the jar, and that way you don't have to worry about having stale crackers. So that was just a great tip. I wanted to sneak in, but this was actually a lunch. On this day, we were actually filming Hamburger Helper, a homemade, healthier version of Hamburger Helper. That video is going to be coming out really soon on the channel, so you'll be able to see it. But my camera person was here in town for a few days, and so this was one of the recipe videos we made while she was here in town. This was another day that was really long and super busy, and would have been just really easy to say, let's go to a restaurant instead of making something. But I was able to stand at the stove for 15 minutes and make the filling to the chicken pot pie, and I had some frozen crusts in the freezer that I pulled out. And so I was able to make that really quickly, put it in the oven and let it get all bubbly and perfect. And we had chicken pot pie for that dinner, and then we also had it for lunch a couple days later. We made Crunchwrap Supremes for a video and then realized my mic wasn't working for part of the video. So we ended up having to remake part of it again and decided to have it for dinner. So we ended up with Crunchwrap Supremes for dinner, and that was kind of a nice different treat to having tacos, but we were actually doing it because the mic wasn't working when we filmed it the first time. So sometimes things like that happen, but we made it work out and we fed everyone. How things work for us is we normally film on Mondays, and that's what we've done for years now here on YouTube. We'll film videos for the next couple weeks every single Monday, and we rotate them out. Well, we've moved away now from where we lived before, but we still have the same person that is behind the camera all the time. So she has agreed to come and travel over to us when we are doing filming days. So we normally film 2 or 3 days in a row, and we film a lot of like recipe videos that we get to spread out. And since the weather has been kind of bad, it's December, she decided to fly over. So she flew over to spend those couple days with us. And then when it was time for her to go home, it was pretty foggy out. So we decided instead of just going straight back home, we were going to wait to make sure that her airplane actually took off. And so we decided to go for dinner in the area near the airport. And while we were at the restaurant, a follower saw me there and came over to the table and stood there and talked to us for about 5 minutes. And it was a lot of fun. She didn't know that I lived in the area now, and so it was kind of a fun interaction with her. So just know I am really shy. I'm kind of an introvert, but I'm happy to say hello if you recognize me out in public. This is actually a breakfast that we had for dinner, but it was just some ham that we had left over from Easter, and I thought this was a really good reminder right here, since you'll probably see it right around Christmas, that you want to save your Christmas ham and chop it up and put it into smaller containers into the freezer, and then you can pull it back out for the next 6 months. So we normally do this at Christmas time and Easter, and then we try to use it up before the next holiday comes. So this time we are just trying to use it up before Christmas, and we are using it for scrambled eggs. We had some peppers and cheese in there, and that is what we actually had for dinner that night. I had spent the entire day decorating and trying to get all of the Christmas decorations out. This is our first Christmas in this house, so not knowing exactly where I'm going to put things, it took a little bit longer than it normally does. And so for dinner, I just pulled out some shepherd's pie I had in the freezer, and that's what we had for dinner this night. So now for the next few days, our team member left. She doesn't like to be named. And then Josh came in, and he is one of our close friends. He's like family to us, and he is helping in that basement project. So they were doing more plumbing and electrical. These are things that he knows how to do really well. And so we are almost to the point where the basement is getting really usable. The floor is done. We have some of the walls painted. Some of the walls are still going to stay unfinished. We're still trying to figure out this 80-year-old house and different improvements that have been made over the years. The space is definitely a lot cleaner. It's more inviting to want to be in, even to go and wash your laundry or grab something out of the freezer. I'm just super excited to be able to share this project with you as we get done with it. But as he was here for a few days, I just bulked up our meals a little bit more. Instead of pulling out 2 chicken breasts, I pulled out a little bit of extra, and I was able to just make a little bit of extra sides, and then we were able to have the same meals that we would normally have. One of the nights that he was here, we had chicken piccata that I just pulled out some extra chicken out of the freezer. I had some capers in the fridge and some lemons, and I made a cream sauce with that really easily. And then we had some frozen mashed potatoes that we had left over from Thanksgiving that I have with that. And then I make a Brussels sprout salad, which is so delicious, but I was waiting for them to get done, and I forgot to turn the oven off when I was waiting for them to get done with their project. So the Brussels sprouts got a little crispy, but it ended up still being delicious. The picture just wasn't perfect, which is okay. The crispy Brussels sprouts actually tasted really good. So the Brussels sprout salad is a recipe that we have on the blog, and that chicken piccata was so delicious. And this night I did make some soup. We seem to have soup about once a week, and then I mix the jars up in the freezer so we can keep pulling out different ones all winter long for lunches. So I made a minestrone soup. This had Italian sausage in it, and I had some orzo pasta that I wanted to use up, so I just added that in there. It had tons of veggies in there, a bunch of zucchini, some peppers, anything that I could sneak into that sauce as I was making the minestrone. And we had that for dinner that night with some rolls that I had in the freezer that I pulled out, so it was super easy. And then again, we have soup often for lunch during the winter time. And on this night, we had a different guest for dinner, and Josh actually headed home. So we literally had somebody for dinner almost every single night during this 2-week period. I think 11 out of the 14 days we had somebody for dinner with us. But on this day, we ended up just using those pita breads that I get from Costco. It's like $3 for a 12-pack of those. I had mozzarella cheese in the freezer. We used some ham and some pineapple, and we made Hawaiian pizzas really easy, and that's what we had for dinner. We've also done a couple different videos on keeping cheese longer. So the mozzarella cheese is something that I bought way back in September, and then I cut that into little portions and I put that in the freezer so then I can pull out the portions that we need to shred to make for pizza. So it's really great to be able to have those ingredients on hand all the time, that we can just make pizza whenever we want for however many people are here. And then today's been kind of a crazy day. We went to church, then we went to Costco and 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 for our December grocery shopping haul. Then we came home and filmed the December grocery shopping haul, and then during that video, it was like 4 o'clock and I didn't even know what we were going to have for dinner. And we've had dinner now and it's all cleaned up. So for dinner tonight, we had turkey sandwiches on sourdough. So it seems like none of the meals that I've made really in the last 2 weeks were really fancy, but we were just coming off of Thanksgiving and we're gearing up now for Christmas and getting to make some other special meals. So it's kind of that little bit of grace that you have right before you're going into the next holiday. I don't know what order the videos come up on the channel, but we have now filmed the December grocery haul. I think that one's already up on the channel by the time you see this video. And then we also did a complete year of me going grocery shopping and what I spent for the entire year and how much I have left in that grocery account, with our grocery budget only being $270 per month, and we still have meals at home 90% of the time. I keep track of all the meals that I'm making, the ingredients that I have in my house, how much I'm spending, how much we go out for takeout, all in my meal planner. And I have these going back for 10 years, so I can really see the different trends that I have done either in cooking or buying things, or how much we were going out. And it is just a really handy thing to be able to meal plan what you're doing at your house too. This is the meal planner. There's 5 different covers for it. I have the lemon one right now, but I'm going to start a brand new one for January 2026. And also our zero waste produce guides are in the description. There's a link for a bundle for the zero waste produce guide and for a meal planner, and there's a special discount code. So if you're trying to save money in the new year, make sure that you're clicking that link and checking this out. And I wasn't sure when I started this series back in January of 2025 if I was going to continue it past 6 months, or now we're at the year mark, but I think it's a really helpful thing to show what we are actually making with the ingredients that we bring in. So we are going to continue this series into 2026 as long as people are enjoying it. And there is an entire playlist that shows all of these videos together if you need to binge watch and get some different inspirations. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and know that I answer questions every single day on the channel, normally morning and evening. We will be getting into some holiday days here that I might be a little bit slower at responding, but it is a privilege of mine to be able to answer your questions and help you save money on groceries. And most of all, thank you for being here, and Merry Christmas.